You mentioned that whilst writing 10X Rule, something changed for you.
Yeah.
What was that? Was that sort of this
look, the 10X Rule
to going all in, or?
No, the 10X Rule it was just the awareness of I had been dependent upon one vertical.
Right.
And I'm sitting there looking, okay, I worked my ass off. I was good at my craft. I saved my money. What did I do wrong here, dude? 51 years old. I should be like so rich right now. I should be like not
Where's
even huh?
Where's my jet, Rich?
I wasn't even thinking about a jet then.
Right.
I wasn't even thinking about a jet. I should just be like, I was still having to do business with people I didn't like. I'm like, why am I still kissing asses? And I don't mind kissing asses. Like, I don't mind, I'll do whatever it takes, but I'm like, why am I still flying 3 million miles every 3 years? Like I was banging miles out. I wasn't 150,000 miles a year.
Wow.
You know, away from my family. Like my life was miserable. I'm like, what? It's fine that you do that for 20 years. It's not fine if you do it forever. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, I wasn't scaling. Now, I didn't know that until the economy basically served up the lesson.
Right.
All right, we're going to take your 3 businesses, and we're going to show you that you really only have like maybe a half of one business. Took the first business and just cut it in half. Took the second business, took it down to like 90%, like just killed this partner I had. And the third business was real estate, and it was frozen. It was literally like they put it in a freezer and said, you're not going to lose any of this, but it's worth nothing to you today.
Yeah.
And I was on life support. And I'm like, I'll never do this again. I will never be dependent upon one vertical, one partner, or a handful of real estate.
Put your heart in your business and your head in your wallet. Your heart in your business, the business that you do, what you're running has to feed you, has to feel purposeful, has to feel like you matter, you mean something, it's having an impact, you're touching lives, you're changing the world, right? Like, you need that passion to drive your business forward, otherwise you're gonna quit. Put your head in your wallet so that you have money coming in, so that you have backup plans, so that you can survive and still feed yourself and your family and pay the internet and, and everything else. Your head is in your wallet and your heart is in your business. I think a lot of times people start and they're already trying to diversify. You know, you're already trying to take on opportunities that you just see as a hot market opportunity for this year. You're trying to take on a million things because you think one of those are bound to pay off. If you don't have your heart in the thing that you're doing, you're never going to win. It's the number one rule for success. You have to love the thing that you're doing. From every entrepreneur that I followed and looked up to and researched and profiled and created videos on, the number one rule for success is you have to love the process of the thing that you're doing. But you have to bring your head with you. You know, you have to bring your head with you to make smart decisions, to actually have money left over. Making money is really important. Whether you're an entrepreneur or not, making money becomes really important. It's not number one, but it's got to be in your top 5. I'm right now going through a process of figuring out what to do with my financial situation. We've grown, you know, we're at 37 people, we're building, and it's great. And historically, I've just done my one company, but now I'm in the process of creating a holding company, creating an investment company, and talking to different people around life insurance, investments, real estate. And what I keep telling them is my heart is in my business and my head is in my wallet, just to help me make the right strategic decision. With money going out, I don't care as long as it's the best decision. Like, show me how I'm gonna make money and not pay taxes, right? Or just pay my fair share of taxes, pay what I'm required to pay, right? I am ultra safe. I do not want calls from the government. I want backup plans upon backup plans for my money and where I'm investing it. But then my heart is in my business. And I'm gonna keep coming up with new, innovative, crazy ideas of things that I can do inside my company. At the very beginning, I had no money. It was all heart, all just trying to get something off the ground. And I think people often will prematurely diversify. We'll prematurely find 18 different sources of income, where the smart thing to do at the beginning is probably just pick one. Like, pick the one that will actually pay you the fastest. That's still inside of your mission, right? That's still inside of the vision you want to create for yourself. Pick the one that will pay you the fastest, that then allows other things to happen. When I'm talking to an entrepreneur and I ask them, what's the vision that you got for yourself? Where do you want to go? What are you trying to create? What's the positive ripple you want to have on the world, right? What is that? They tell me their big plan and big goals and big dreams. It's amazing. Okay, well, what are you going to do tomorrow? Like, how do we start funding this? Because they're still at a job, or they just started and they're just making ends meet. And I remember being that person. And being too ashamed and embarrassed to ask for help. I'm making $300 a month. Like, that was me. I get it. Okay, so what are you going to do to start building that? And that's where people struggle. That's where people fall down. It's like, what are the next steps? You could see the end picture and the goal and the vision that you've got for yourself and what you want to make, but from where you are now to where you're going to be, it just feels too big, too slow, too impossible, needing venture capital funding, needing a whole ton of support. Like, no, you just need to figure out what's the next step that will start to pay you for what you're doing. This is where people often don't want to have the conversation because they just want to do everything for free. Like, but that's great, but you have to make money doing this so that you can make this your full-time thing, so you can hire a team, so you can expand, so you can have a bigger reach, so you can have a much bigger impact, so you can actually create the world that you want to create. Again, money's not number one, but you have to figure out a way to make money. So inside of your big dream, what is the next step that you have to take that's going to start to get you paid? And often it's coaching. Often it's selling your time, right? Often it's taking the expertise that you have inside you. You solved the problem for yourself. Now you're going to help other people do it, and you're going to get paid to do it. Well, when I suggest that to people, they go, oh, well, I don't want to trade my time for money. I want to create a product. I want to write my book. I want to, create a course or whatever. Like, well, those take a crazy long time to do. If that's really what's in your heart, okay, great, go do it. But it takes a really long time to do. It's going to take forever to get paid. And you're probably going to miss the mark. If you're creating a product, if you're writing a book, think about what a book is. Think about what speaking is. It's basically coaching, but to many. When you're coaching somebody one-on-one, you can see the feedback, you can see what's landing, you can help them, you can see their reaction, you can see where they struggle, you can see what their hold up is, and then you can bounce with them, you can play with them, you can dance with them to get them to where you need to get them. When you're on stage or when you're doing a book or a program or a course, there's no instant feedback. And so, especially something like a book, you make it and then, a year later it finally comes out and then you start to see feedback. Well, it's too late, right? It's one to many. So how do you get better at that? Well, because you've done so many one-to-ones. If you want to be a great author or a great speaker or create great programs and courses, it's on the back of you doing a lot of one-on-ones so that you know what the reaction is going to be, you know what the feedback is going to be, you know where the holdups are going to be, you know where the struggles are going to be, you know that, and so you can address it. When I was writing Your One Word, for example, my first book that we did with Penguin, I help people find their one word, the most important core value. And I did it for myself, and then I did it for other people, and I turned it into a book. But before doing that, there was one great example where I had somebody who I was coaching through the process. And my process at the time was go positive. Think about all the positive things that have happened in your life, the positive relationships, your favorite book, your favorite teacher, what you loved about your parents, etc. And then find the common thread. Well, no matter how much he did it, he couldn't find it. It's like, I don't know, is it this, is it that, is it this? He kept going back and forth, and I can't tell him what the answer is, I can only guide. So finally, after, 20 minutes sitting at a Starbucks with him, trying to figure out what it was, I came up with a different approach, which was, okay, you know what, instead of going positive, let's go negative. Go negative. What's the thing that you hate about people. You know, like who are some people who you don't hate the person, but you hate the thing. There's something about them that you hate. What is that? What's that value? And came up with the anti-word. And he said, oh, that's easy. I hate this. Like, okay, great. Well, the opposite then is your one word, right? So to figure out, sometimes to figure out what you stand for, you have to figure out what you stand against. And it's easier to figure out what you stand against for some people. Not me, I'm wired to figure out what I stand for. It's a lot easier for me. But for some, what they stand against is easier. Okay, great. So in that coaching process, I learned a new tactic. I learned a new way to help somebody get to their one word. And I put that into the book. And that made the book better. And that made my speeches better. And that made my videos better. Because if I only talk to people who are exactly like me, then I have a limited market by definition. And so when you're getting started, doing some kind of service, even though it's not as scalable, does a couple things. It gets you closer to your customer. It gets money coming into your pocket right away. And it starts to build momentum for your business. So then you can go and quit your job or go and hire your first person. You've got momentum you can use now to start to build the company of your dreams. So my head is in my wallet and my heart is in my business. And you've got big dreams for where you want to go. And the immediate priority should be, okay, inside of those big dreams, how can I take some immediate momentum to start getting paid, to start bringing money in? Because as soon as you can justify even just a full-time salary for yourself, as soon as you can start to feel that this thing is working and you can quit your job and start doing this full-time, like you get to that point where you're not buying Lambos and living life huge, but you can support yourself. And now you can go full-time on this thing. And now you can hire your first person, then maybe your second person. When you start to get that momentum in your business, you become unstoppable. And it's all because you took the immediate action on your big idea to turn it into something manageable that can start getting you paid.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
How I got out of 2008 was not as important as how I got into it. If you got spanked before, it's because you were in the wrong place at the wrong time with too little. Okay? If you've ever approached bankruptcy, the broker that the gentleman was talking about that went bankrupt, it's because he didn't get big enough. Okay? You cannot fail when you get bigger and bigger. You have to keep scaling out your business. You don't have a choice. Your dreams have to be way bigger than what you're thinking about, folks. Because right now what you're thinking about is what you need. When I quit thinking about what I need, I started getting exactly what I needed and what I deserved. So the 10X concept is like, okay, how much would I need? How many people would I need to call on? Who would I need to be in front of? What would I need to do so that I never have to worry about money? Or when I'm worried about money, I'm worried about big money problems rather than little money problems. Single biggest mistake I've made in my career was not spending money. It's what put me in a position to be able to buy real estate because I had money, but I had to buy the real estate. I had to use the money. Brad Lee made a comment the other day about money. Money is not to be saved and hoarded. Like it's no good if you don't use it. This is the problem with Bitcoin. When do I transact with it? Right? I'm sitting on $1 million worth of Bitcoin right now. I can't get rid of it fast enough. I can't go buy stuff with it. So until that situation is resolved, right? It's why people don't hoard gold anymore. You don't keep gold because you can't exchange it. Money is to be used. For those of you out there that are like complaining about the cost of anything, the truth is that's what that money's for. The only thing, the only purpose money has is to be used. And I was scared that I couldn't produce more money. So every time I spent money, I complained about it. Today, I'm like, that's the biggest mistake I ever made.
should have been spending more money. It wouldn't have taken me 30 years. In the first 5 years, I should have borrowed money I didn't have, and I should have spent money that I did have, and I should have gone into debt to do it, to get my brand out there, to get it known. The mattress guy in your town did it. The car guy in your town did it. Whoever spent the most money, whoever put it all out there all the time, every day, on every TV, radio, and the internet, wins the battle. It's not the prettiest guy, okay? It's not. It's the guy that out-advertises, that outspends. It takes courage to make money.
Hey, a quick note out to all of you out there that believe that an open mind is important, which, by the way, I agree with you. I agree an open mind's important. You know the old saying, the mind is like a parachute. It won't work if it's open. But I want you to add one piece to that. If that parachute is wide open, you're falling straight to the ground. You understand what I'm saying? If it doesn't open, if the mind doesn't open, you're in trouble. If it opens too wide, you're a dead man bouncing or a dead woman bouncing. My point to you is this, okay? Most people do actually have an open mind. The problem is many people, they have a mind that's wide open with no filters, no gates, no protection. You listen to everyone. You listen to everyone on Facebook, everyone on Instagram. You listen to your uncle, your aunt, your mom, your dad. When the mind's too open, you get too much data and you go into confusion.
How important is it to have that team? And to all those who are watching that are starting out their teams, what would be the advice that you would give them?
Yeah, well, the whole solopreneur thing, I'm going to do it by myself, I'm going to work from home, it's not even real. Like, I know it's popular, you see it on Instagram, and you think some guy's doing something on Instagram, but he's not doing anything. He posted an image of his car that he washes on Instagram. Okay, it might not even be his car, by the way. Okay, he's rubbing out his car and posted somebody else's car. He posted a picture of Edmund's car as he passed up here in the hills. So, after he freaking mowed my lawn. So, what would I tell you? Dude, you got to be on a team. I mean, like how are you going any place by yourself? You live on a planet with 7 billion people. You're like, I hear people say all the time, I'm an introvert, and I don't like people. But you live on planet Earth.
Right.
Okay. Kind of the wrong place to introvert. So, people, I know people that can't swim, man. I'm like, 2/3 of the planet is water.
Hey, jump in this pool, right?
You might want to get your strokes on, dog. I mean, there's a chance in your lifetime that you're going to need people, and you might need a backstroke, right? You might need to be able to hold your breath at some point. So I don't understand why people aren't getting prepared. We live on a planet that is basically, it's got gravity on it, it's got an atmosphere, and there's one common thing with the Chinese, Hispanic. I don't think Hispanic's even a group, is it?
Not Latinos, Hispanic.
Latinos,
yeah,
man.
sure.
Okay, sorry, man. Okay. You got blacks, you got whites, you got Italians, you got all these people, right? Koreans. We got all these people, but the truth is, man, economics bind us all together. Okay, I go down to the grocery store and there's somebody from Korea in there. I'm trading money with that person. Okay, that is the exchange. You're on a team. Your team can be your team that has the goal they want to go get is to hit a target. But part of your team is also the people you're selling to.
Right.
And part of your team is also, another team is the community you live in. And another team is your church.
Yeah.
And your family. And these are all teams, right? And your job and my job, I mean, if you want to be all alive, all in the deal, your job is to you need to be a super champion of all these teams.
Right.
Not just one team.
How many of you want to make more money? Pay attention then. You can't make more money if you don't know what we're doing here. So the first thing is to decide, hey, am I in the right place? Those guys had to walk in that stadium last night and say, hey, we in the right place? Yeah, man. Okay. And then they probably said, man, we got a shot here. We got a chance to win a Super Bowl, right? You came to work today. This is not a Super Bowl. Unless you want it to be. But I'm going to tell you something. If you don't get your life ready right now, if you don't start acting right now like you're in the Super Bowl, you're never going to make one anyway. Even when you do make one. I mean, if you look at that kid last night, what's his name? Nick Foles? He's been sitting on the sidelines for years, overlooked for years. What you do right now, every day, even if you hate your job, I promise you this will happen in your life. If you could learn how to embrace every moment like this is a Super Bowl, one day you're going to get your shot. You're going to get your shot, but your shot will not show up if you're not ready. Because even if it shows up, if you're not ready, you won't be able to see it.
What advice do you have to the person to up their ambition? Just up their ambition.
Yeah, well, you got to quit saying nonsensical stuff like, I'm happy where I'm at and we're good, we're all good,
Business is good.
Everything's good,
Yeah.
I'm better off than
Yeah.
somebody in that. You got to quit comparing yourself to other people.
Yeah.
You got to quit talking like the middle class.
Yeah.
Like you've somehow arrived because somebody in Iran is suffering.
Yeah.
You're good until you're not. There's nobody watching that gives enough money to charity.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody watching should be able to give $1 million a year to charity, but you can't. You know why you can't? You would if you could, but you can't because you didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't produce enough, because by the way, it's not your money anyway.
Yeah.
Somebody
Just a
else
game.
gave you the money,
Yeah.
and you pass it on. Most of you are like, I'm really charitable, I'm really good, but you never do enough. Why? Because you never had enough.
Yeah.
And so because you didn't produce enough, because you didn't work enough, because you didn't expand enough. So I would just say to people, look, have some loftier goals. So you know what I do? Every time I'm having trouble, every time I'm like, man, I don't think I can get to where I'm going, I just start looking at the top. I don't look at the bad facts. All I do is I start searching. Tell me about wealthy people, facts about wealthy people, anything. What are they doing? What are they buying? It just gets me out of my problem, right? It gets me to think bigger. The first plane I bought this plane because I saw other wealthy people making moves. I'm not an irresponsible person, okay? I have always been a very frugal person, but the frugal was hurting me, not helping me. Your network is your net worth. How rich you can get has something to do with who you're hanging with. How rich you can think has something to do with who you're hanging with, okay? How smart you are has something to do with your surroundings. If you hang out with dumb people, you're going to end up dumb. If you hang out with junkies, you're going to end up being a junkie. You hang out with criminals. I'm not talking about the people that go to jail. I'm talking about all the people at your office right now that cheat their employer and cheat themselves. You hang out with crims, you end up being a crim. If you want to build a network, number one thing, commit to building a network. A network, by definition, is not, if you're building a new network, is not the people you're already with. It's how do I add people to my network? So number one, you got to commit to building a network. Number two, who do you want in the network? Who is it? Most of you just go for more people like you have already in your network. I want new people, new characters, new personalities, new thinking, new ideas. The old adage, if you're the smartest person in the room, you in the wrong room. And number three, when you start building this network up and you start meeting the people, okay, number two is who do you want to meet? Who are you going to add to the network? You go 9,000 people in a room, you don't need to meet all 9,000. You need to meet maybe a list of 30 or 40 people. Who do you want to meet? Number three, when you meet them, focus on them, not on you. It shouldn't be, here's my card, I'm a chiropractor, this is what I do, can I give you an adjustment? Dude, it should be like, who are you? How can I help you? What are you doing? Where do you live, okay? What projects are you working on? How can I help you?
I go out every day. This is how I think about money. I'm running every day for money. I'm fucking busting my ass, man. I'm busting my ass every day. I'm busting my ass. I'm busting my ass, trying to fill up the refrigerator, take care of the kids, get good education for them, fuel the plane up, put fuel in the plane, fly the plane, take care of the plane, wash the plane, right? Get a new plane, okay? Advertise, right? Advertise, take care of my wife, buy her some Chanel, invest in my business, right? This is what I'm doing all day long, And then what I'm trying to do really is I'm trying to put this money to use at some point, okay? I operate with what I call as a 40% point. I'm looking for 40% to save on my income. Whatever it takes, how much money do I need to make so that I have 40% that I can take over here and shove a big giant piece of cake into a deal? Now, the phenomenon about 40% is this. There's a point where it's impossible for you to save 40%. So, see, I found I had to get to around $10,000 a month in income to save $4. So I had to keep making this go up. The income is the only thing that restricts how much money you can invest and save. So this is why the guy that says, I'm good. How many of you have employees that are like, I'm good making 50 or 60 grand a year? They'll never be motivated because they're screwed up about money. They have the wrong knowledge about money. 76% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. You can send them to as many Tony Robbins seminars as you want to. You will not change the state of a person indefinitely if they have money problems every day. It is impossible, because I contract every time I'm at Whole Foods. Oh my God, grass-fed beef is that much money? I contract the moment I say, oh God.
Being on planet Earth, like if you want to be a good father, a good mother, a good son, like a good humanitarian, you got to go door to door. There's no other place to learn that. Like the skills that I learned at, I guess I was 30 years old, probably for 3 years I did door-to-door sales. It was door to business.
Okay.
I mean, whatever that's called.
Business to business.
Business to business. All right, come on, you dropping bombs. This guy, all the intelligence in the world, one little space. So, what I learned business to business, calling on, hey, my name's Grant Cardone, figuring that pitch out, handling my fear, handling the opportunity to learn this. First of all, it's not taught in college, it's not taught in high school. If it's not taught there, you got to ask why. Okay? I mean, they don't teach you anything in most of these schools, in formal education. The real skills you need are not done in a desk.
Right.
They're done when you walk up. First of all, when you leave your car and you walk up the sidewalk, and you're like, I don't know these people. They don't know me. Anything could happen when they open the door. Yeah. I hope they don't answer. That's the best outcome here, you know? And all the stuff that you're going through, like some of the most successful people I know have been on missions. They spent 2 years on missions.
I was on a mission.
Yeah.
So.
Some of the like I know a guy that's going to take his company public this year, multi-billion-dollar company, started from scratch, no formal education. He was a missionary work.
The thing that I do at my company that is very unusual is that we are completely unreasonable, without reason, we don't use, yes, I'm logical, okay, yes, I'm a sane person, but when it comes to achieving a target, we do it with, like, we abandon reason and logic. We don't talk about, yeah, but, we never start, yeah, but, or no, we can't, or we couldn't because, or it didn't happen because. Anytime you're making sense of why something didn't work, we don't have the budget, we can't do that because, yeah, but we're different, you are being reasonable. The great things that have happened on this planet and continue to happen are because people are unreasonable. They literally abandon reason and logic. They defy the universe. Now, if you look around, if you're a logical person, if you're a person that has to make sense of it beforehand, then spend some time looking around the universe, look at nature, look at all the things that are done every day that literally defy gravity, defy possibility, defy physics. It's all over the place if you need to be reasonable. Now, in my case, I don't need to be reasonable because there's enough cases of super successful people doing things that are amazing, whether it was a manufacturing, a new product, or whether it was Steve Jobs coming back to Apple and turning that company around. Every day, look at Amazon. Look what Amazon has done. Okay, now you look at it and you're like, dude, that's a no-brainer. Make all products available online. Now it's a no-brainer. Now it's like, it's so logical. Look at Velcro. Velcro was like, God, I should have thought of that. See, but beforehand, it was completely out of reason that you could stick things together because they scratch one another. You understand what I'm saying? So look, this is what I want you to try. Try this in your life. It's going to be very difficult. It's one of the most difficult things I do is being unreasonable because all the people I'm surrounded by are trying to make sense of why they can't do something. Quit making sense of why you can't do something and become unreasonable until you do something. What are you going to do when you wake up and you feel lost? You feel less than. You feel a sense of either depression or despair and no direction. What I do is this. I show up. Man. A buddy of mine told me when I was at a super low point in my life. He said, hey man, show up even if your eyes are bleeding and your life is low, show up anyway. Show up.
Bigger is better. How many agree with this? Okay? If you can live on 900 grand, the only people that won't go to 9 million are the people that are selfish. Unselfish people grow their businesses. Selfish people don't. Okay, if you're taking notes, if you're going to walk away with something today, I'm talking to the able people here. Give me the name of a great company that has 7 employees. I'm waiting. Give me the name of a great company that doesn't spend a load of money on advertising. Who is this company? Tell me, give me one name of any company that's great, this small. See, you built a business on a fantasy, right? Like I'm going to get a State Farm. I'm going to get a State Farm. I'm going to get an All-State company. I'm going to be an All-State guy, and I'm going to make 900 grand a year. You're selfish, folks. See what I'm saying about the selfish person makes what they need. The unselfish person says, I'm going to make more than I need. I've been lost most of my life, literally the first 45 years of my life. The first probably 51 years of my life. First 45 years for sure, I was completely lost. And somewhere between 45 and 51, I started figuring out, okay, what am I doing? I started sorting my life out. I started doing some courses that really, really made a difference in my life. I've always been into self-improvement my whole life. And but it wasn't until I was about 45 that I really started discovering information that could make me more confident, me more sure. You know, when I was 25 years old, I was a young salesperson and I didn't like sales, and I got educated on how to sell, and I became very, very good at it. I started to understand the process, the customer, the objections, the rebuttals, how to follow up, how to handle the rejection and the disappointment, the discouragement, how to get over it. But that didn't help me become more confident in me as a person, as an individual. I was making money. By the time I was 31, I had a couple businesses. They were making money. Probably had, $300,000-$400,000 saved when I was 30, 31 years old, because I was starting to make a little money, right? By the time I'm 33, I got probably $1 million in the bank. I still didn't feel good about myself. I had this nagging, sense of desperation, anxiety, depression, uncertainty, a lack of confidence. And when I started working on me spiritually, that's when at 45, 46, 47 years old, that's when everything changed for me. Like everything, all the expansion, the confidence, the getting out in the world, maybe a little better communicating than I was doing. I'm not perfect at it by any means now. And I started getting more certainty about who I am, what I am, where I'm going, and why I'm here. Like if you don't figure those things out, no amount of money in the world will fill you up. No, the private planes won't, the fancy cars. You have to know where you're going. How do you do this? I started with one employee. His name was Grant Cardone. I knew him, and so I hired him. Right? He passed the drug test. I believed in him. And for 15 years, I was one guy. And then one day I woke up, a mentor of mine said, look, you can't scale with just yourself. You got to start building a business here. If you're going to have a real business, you need employees, you need people. You need to be willing to hire people. And I'm like, man, but I'm scared. They cost money. He's like, not making sales. 1, 2, 3, 4. These empty desks. That's what's costing me money. Okay, that's what's costing you money. Staying small is costing you money. All this costs money. I have failures here. I have disappointments. I have discouragements. I have people that work here for a little while and they quit. But you're not going to get big by yourself. If you ask me to coach your business, I'm not going to think about how to hold on to what you did last year. That's what most people right now are thinking here in March. In January, you're like, this is going to be a great year. By March, you're like, man, I just want to do what we did last year. If we just do, you're starting to make sense. You're becoming reasonable. Okay, I'm telling you that because this is what your people do too. Okay, your people, the people that you hire, they make sense of how to make 48 grand a year. And if you have people in your company that are trying to make sense of how to make 48 grand a year, you got a company that's going to die. Toys R Us filed bankruptcy this week. iHeartRadio, the biggest radio station in the world,
filed for bankruptcy this week. There's going to be massive disruption in the marketplace. Why? Because these companies thought about, they kept having trophies about what they had rather than what they could get. Who's got money? Who's qualified to buy? How can I get their attention? How can I tell them what I want from them? Okay? How fast can I get to the marketplace? Fast, speed is the new big. You can do more. You can do more than you ever imagined. I was broke at 25 years old. Broke, okay? Every 2 years I get one of these cars. The people at Rolls Royce like, hey, we want to send you another one of those cars, okay? How you want it? How you want it dressed? What color you want it? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy the life I'm living right now. We did a conference. There was 10,000 people in the room and another 10,000 people online. All of them paid to be there. I remember when I couldn't get 2 people to show up at a party in high school because I was so disliked. You can do more than you think you can. How do you control? How do you discipline? How do you start monitoring what you're saying to yourself? I can't find the right girl. I can't find the right guy. Marriage is hard. I'm broke. I'm poor. It's going to be hard if you don't change your mind. You got to change the way you think. And the way to change the way you think, first of all, the one way is to start disciplining yourself. Catch yourself. Every time you say, I don't have time, say, hey, I create time. Every time you say, I don't have money, I create money. Literally like talking to yourself, hey, I am a millionaire. So if you're broke right now, quit saying I am broke and start saying what you want. Where are you going? It's not complicated. You want to get rich? I got rich. You want to get rich? You can. Nothing and no one stopping you from doing that but the information in your head.
If you're not going to work, like a 10-hour day is a short day for me. I hear more people promoting this 4-hour idea, okay? Like Tim Ferriss, I just call him out right now. It is complete bunk. It is complete. You cannot outsource everything. This idea that you're going to be a solopreneur, outsource or work 4 hours or part-time, you guys try to do the part-time thing, you will have full-time problems. Forever, to the end of your life. Not only will you have problems, because you're selfish if you're trying to do a 4-hour work week. You're selfish. You're thinking only about yourself. If you don't scale and hire people, you're also selfish. You're trying to manage money rather than saying, hey, I have a great message. Like, you have an obligation, man, to get out there and help people. So I don't know how to do 10 hours. I know I need 6 to 7, maybe 8 hours of sleep a day. The question is, how am I going to best utilize my other 16 hours with my family, as a father, as a community leader, as somebody that's interested in changing the conditions around me, right? And how can I use that phone to maximize those 16 hours? And how can I spend time with my kids that actually adds value to my business, right? How can I create a studio so me and my wife can work together on Wednesdays? Like, everything that we do here is about my life, so that I'm dropping stuff into my life bucket. My work gets dropped in here, so it's like everything I do. I go on a trip, I go look at real estate, I do an interview, I set up a house in Deer Valley for a month. I have people come over, investors, I look at real estate. Everything is basically, what is it?
You're churning.
Yeah, exactly. Inside a soup, right? I'm making a meal called my life. And that's what I would tell people to do. Quit thinking about how little you can do and start thinking about how many different things can I do in the same day.
Make decisions quickly so that I can sell things quickly. Because if you do it a certain way, you give yourself permission to ask other people to do the same thing. It's built-in ethics. At the end of the last year, on December the 13th or 14th, Captain Ryan's in the room. I said, dude, we're going to buy a plane by the end of the year. Okay, I'm going to wipe out my tax bill. I'm going to buy a damn plane, and we're going to wipe it out. Okay, I bought a plane in less than 9 days. Brand new plane in 9 days. The guy at Gulfstream says, dude, nobody does this. Most people take 9 months. Some people take 9 years. 9 days, we bought the plane. Bought it, shopped it, bought it, closed it. He's like, nobody does that. It's ridiculous. Huge purchase, big purchase. Typically a very long cycle, a lot of shopping. Guarantee you that decision that quickly will make me a lot of money. You understand why? That's how I make decisions, man. So what do I expect you guys to make decisions the same way? I spent $50 million in freaking 90 minutes, and you guys take freaking 9 months to spend $6,000. Make decisions quick. Make decisions as fast as you can. Stay certain. You can get new money. Everybody agree? See, when I do that in my own life, I can press you to do the same thing. I've given myself permission, and in this universe, given myself permission to push people to do things faster. If you take a long time to do things, your buyer will then be allowed to take a long time to do things. You shop a second place, a third place, a fourth place, a fifth place, a sixth place, guess what? They will too. You got to get a best deal because your daddy taught you to get a good deal, never be taken advantage of, shop 2 and 3 places, get your best discount, it's got to be on sale. Then guess what? Every customer you have is going to what? Give me a deal, man. Give me a deal, man. Give me a deal, man. Okay? Your worst customers are the ones you give the best deal to. Never can make them happy. They want something. Oh, give me something extra. Give me something else. The mooch. Never satisfied. Right or wrong? Because you guys are mooches. You guys are mooches. Just be honest, man. You can't fix what you deny. You're a mooch, they're going to be a mooch. They're cheap, they're going to be cheap. You're cheap, they're going to be cheap. You take a long time, they're going to take a long time. You shop 4 or 5 places, they're going to do the same thing. You need more information, they're going to do the same thing. You got to have your wife involved, they're going to do the same thing. LeBron shows up. This dude comes in 15 minutes before practice, and LeBron gives him that look like, hey, dude, what's going on here? He's like, what do you mean I'm 15 minutes early? He's like, you should have been here an hour ago. And when he says that to this dude, the guy knows LeBron's been there for 2 hours. So all I ask you to do, like, here's a guy, probably the best that's ever walked out on a basketball court, short of Michael Jordan. But both of them had one thing in common. They worked, okay? It wasn't about just their talent. It was about their work ethic. People knew them for their work ethic. So just ask yourself this week, do people know you for your work ethic? Are people like, man, you work hard? Are people actually commenting about you showing up early and staying late? Because if they're not, then you're just blending in with everybody else's work ethic. At the end of the day, talent will not win the game. It is work ethic that will win the game. So when I saw this, I'm like, here's a guy, top of his game, got all the money you could possibly, he could never spend all his money. Impossible. He'll be a billionaire. Okay? And he's showing up 2 hours early to make sure he plays the game, to make sure he's in physical condition, to make sure that he can stay in the game long past it. He doesn't even need it. He's got all his rings. I got to tell you, I was so inspired by it because I got a bunch of partners. I got guys that I do business with. I got one of them in particular that I'm having some problems with. He told me, man, if I had your money, dude, I would retire. He said it to me over and over, and I hadn't been listening to it enough to understand. He wants to go lay down, okay? You cannot run, what's that thing called you did? You can't do an Ironman with that attitude. Don't know why you'd want to do an Ironman. But I tell you what, if you could do an Ironman and then take that and add it to your career, to the longevity of your career, you know, because look, it's going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it's going to be 20 years. You're going to look back and say, and the marketplace is going to reward whatever you do every day. I'm in a lot of battles every day that nobody sees. I mean, some of these battles are brutal, man. Like there's some things, it doesn't matter how many people you have around. You could have 85 employees, another 150 some other place. You could be married, have kids. There are so many things that a person, if you're in the game all the way, you will have to do by yourself. You're gonna die by yourself. Like, it doesn't matter how many people you get around. Dude, there's some things you gotta confront your fears by yourself. You gotta confront your doubts by yourself. Like, that's the stuff that I'm doing every day. So I'm stringing a lot of futures. I got a lot of games going on all the time. I got a lot of games I wanna win at. Half of them I lose, half of them I win, but I'm gonna fight. Like I have a tremendous, I don't have the flight.
Fight or flight.
I have the fight. I'm a fighter. Like, I've really trained the fighter because I remember being bullied as a kid and I didn't like it. So You know, I'm a fighter. I'm in there figuring out the fight. Like all this stuff that I do all the time. The webinar, I've done 3 webinars in 22 days. Nobody's done that. Nobody's ever done bang, 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 bang. Two are free. The third one we sell. Like, I mean, super successful. These are best-selling, multi-million-dollar webinars out of an idea. While I'm doing that, I'm negotiating a $160 million sale, $125 million refinance, $160 million purchase. We started our 4th fund. Dude, just like,
Pressure.
How do you do it? The more you guys get going on, the better you're gonna like the game. I'm telling you. You're confused, man. You want more activity. You want more threats. You don't want less. You guys slow down. Y'all, when you slow down, the environment becomes threatening. When you speed up, it becomes your environment.
This car right here, this Rolls Royce Wraith with the magic astrological zodiac sign built into the ceiling with little sparkles. Dumbest damn thing you could ever buy in your life is a big, expensive luxury car. In fact, okay, in my rant today, I want to share with you one of the things that I did smart in my life was I never bought these exotic cars that everybody seems to go out and buy as soon as they make a little money. What I did was this. I waited to ever do a dumb thing like this. One of the dumbest things I ever bought in my damn life, okay? I waited until, number 1, I didn't have to buy one, and number 2, until it didn't matter. I just got my financial statement in 3 months, the first 3 months of this year compared to last year, a double. You understand what a double is? A double means I can do stupid shit now, okay? Look, once you make enough money to where you can blow $461,000 and it don't matter, then go do it, okay? Until then, do not waste your money. I'm sorry, this car was only $384,000. I didn't want to exaggerate to you, but I think they added some stuff to this bad boy. So look, until then, don't waste your money on watches and cars and Brioni suits, okay? It's ridiculous. You guys that are buying $1,200 shoes, stupid. You guys that are buying $200,000 cars, stupid. You guys that are spending money on homes, no offense, but you're stupid. You don't need an expensive house. You don't need a country club yet. What you need is paper. You need money, baby. You need net worth. You need passive income. You need flows, baby. Flows and flows and flows. You don't need a Rolls Royce.
Fear is the great indicator. Sooner or later, you will experience fear when you start taking new actions at new levels. In fact, if you aren't, then you're probably not doing enough of the right things. Fear isn't bad or something to be avoided. Conversely, it's something you want to seek and then to embrace. Fear is actually a sign that you're doing what is needed to move in the right direction. What is fear anyway? I mean, really, does it even exist? Is it real? I know it feels real when you're experiencing it, but admit it, most of the time, what you fear doesn't even occur. Fear, for the most part, is provoked by emotions, not rational thinking. Chances are that when you were a child, you found fear in irrational things, the boogeyman under the bed, for example. Adults have their own boogeymen, the unknown, rejection, failure, fear of success, and on and on. For example, if you're afraid to call a client, then it's that sign that you should call that client. Fear of speaking with the boss is an indication you should march into his office and ask for a moment of his time. Everyone experiences fear on some level. Fear doesn't just tell you what to do, it also tells you when to do it. Ask yourself, what time is it at any point in the day? And the answer is always the same. The time is now. The time is always now. And when you experience fear, it's a sign that the best time to take action is at that very moment. Now, the only thing that will make a difference in that moment of fear is action. Failure comes in many forms. It occurs whether you act or you don't act. Regardless of the outcome, I would say it's far preferable to fail while doing something than to fail by over-preparing while someone else walks up and scoops up your dreams. Fear is a sign to do whatever it is you fear and do it quickly.
I grew up in Lake Charles, Louisiana, for those of you who don't know my story, and my dad was, he had 5 kids, wife. He was dedicated and committed to being the provider for his family, like many of you are. How many of you provide for your family?
probably want to do a good job at it. My dad wanted to do a good job at it. So my dad died when I was 10 years old. He had owned a life insurance company. He actually started a life insurance company. It was taken from him and a partner. It was taken from him at the age of, I guess he was 42 years old. 42 years old, he's got 5 kids. He's got a wife to take care of and no job. How many have been in transition before? Yeah. So 42, a lot of obligation now, starting to move into the middle class. 42 years old, he's got twin boys coming. They didn't plan us. You know, good Catholic family, doing the planning. Every 5 years they'd have a baby. So he was planning. You could tell, like when I look back in his life today. This is a long answer to a short question, but like you guys need to figure out your why you're going to do whatever you're going to do. My dad knew why he was going to do what he was going to do, but my dad didn't think big enough. I got 2 things from my dad. One, every day he worked, he was up early, he stayed late. He's in transition between 42 and 52. He's in transition in his life, right? He's having to go from life insurance company, big dream, company gets stolen away from him. He's like, what am I doing? Right? This is the story of the middle class right here. This is called gravity. This is yesterday's Miami bridge falling. And everybody's like, I can't believe that happened. Structures fall, folks. So this is what I learned from my dad. My mom had to sell a dream house that was paid for in cash. My dad bought a dream house a year and a half before he died. We all went in, celebrated. Oh my God, this is unbelievable. This is crazy. This is great. We made it to the middle class. My dad dies. My mom has to sell the house literally a week after my dad dies. When she should have been grieving, she was having to sell this dream house. You understand what I'm saying? This is what I learned when I was 10 years old. Oh man, life is short. Okay? My dad didn't provide. He worked hard, but he didn't have enough. Because if he had enough, my mom would not have had to sell the dream house. Everybody agree with that? Okay? My mom did not know how to produce new income, so my mom had to go into conservation. So when you ask me the question, how'd you start? I started with the wrong data. Okay? I started with the wrong data. And the data was, hey, life is short, something bad's going to happen, all that's true. But if you could outproduce, if you could produce enough income, you could start solving some of these problems, like indestructible income.
My daddy told me Dr. Care, our local doctor, he was the most successful doctor we knew both the most successful doctors, Dr. Care and Dr. Morin, right? And Dr. Care was at the house and they're drinking martinis. I'm like, damn, I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna drink martinis and I'm gonna be James Bond, right? And Dr. Care came up to me and says, give me $1. I had $1 too. He's like, give me that $1. I'm like, I ain't giving you $1. My daddy said, never deny a man in power. Never deny a man in power, okay? Never talk poorly about somebody in power. Push power to power. That's a good investment, folks, okay? If you're taking notes, write this down. Push power to power. People that are doing good things, people that are making a difference, people that are out there, push power to power and ignore everyone else. We don't help people that have nothing. I'm telling you right now, I do not help people that have nothing. I help people that have something and want to make it more. I'm not talking about money right now. If somebody thinks they have nothing, I'm not helping that person. If they think they have nothing, I can't help them. If you think you have something and that you're not broke, I can help you. Because you're not broke, okay? This lie you tell yourself about, I don't have any money, I don't have any money. You have something, man. You got commitment. You got creativity. You can't bankrupt a guy like me. How you gonna take all my money? I get asked this all the time. Man, what would you do if somebody took all your money? Ain't nobody gonna take all my money. Okay, nobody can take all my money. Nobody thinks big enough. You can't steal all my money, dude. A thief never thinks big enough. That's why he steals. A thief steals less than he could have made honestly. Okay, but if I didn't have any money today, take away everything, whatever that means, everything is, I'm still left with what? I'm Grant Cardone. I got courage. I have creativity. Those are the things that matter. Okay, I'm willing to come off of a damn whatever that thing is, the box. I got guts. I'm willing to be bold, right? How many of you have those things? How many of you got courage? How many of you got creativity? How many of you got guts? How many of you got dreams?
Who do you work with, live with, hang with that's causing you to put a brake when you accelerate? This is a huge issue, okay? This is a mental issue, totally mental, totally about who's playing in your park, in your business park. Who's telling you? Oh, by the way, it could be somebody you sleep with, it could be the information your kids are bringing from school, it could be your mom and dad, it could be all those, it could be the paper you're reading, the Instagram you're watching, the Facebook you're looking at, it could be all that. You know, you get advice from me and you go flip over to Dave Ramsey, you're going to see this conflict. Like, okay, Grant's using debt, Dave's not. Who's right? So pick somebody and go deep with that person. If you're going to pick a mentor, one of the biggest questions I get is, how do I pick a mentor? You got to get rid of mentors. You guys already have too many. Yo, listen to everybody. An open mind is not always a good thing. When a parachute opens like this, we're good. A wide open mind means this: I take information from anybody and everybody. What you want to do is like this. Like, you want to run the race with blinders on. Get your data. If I have a wrong piece of data that I'm stable on, I'm probably going to be more effective than a right piece of data that I'm unsure about. Number two, I would quit being small. Because the first thing you said, I'm a small company. You're not going to make it. You can't make it. It's impossible. You're not going to survive in the jungle being a small animal by yourself. What animal does this? Everybody in the room, if you're trying to stay small, you will die. The reason you're staying small is because you won't spend money. And the reason you won't spend money is because somebody got up in your head and said, hey man, money is scarce, it's a problem. There's no shortage of money on this planet, bro. You need to go get some money, take that money, invest it in people, right? You need to get a herd around you. You need to get a herd around you so that when the tiger comes, the elephants are like, yeah? What you doing, man? You come all by yourself? That's stupid, look at us, right? So you need to get a herd, man, okay? And you need to train the herd to protect, to defend, to feed, to hunt. And so that's all I would tell you. You got to get a posse. You got to start thinking, how big can I get?
When I started my business, I'd get money and I'd save it. I'd get money and I'd save it. I'd get money and I'd save it. And I didn't spend money in marketing and branding. So when I was writing the 10X rule, I'm like, dude, why am I not bigger than I've been busting my working so hard. I've been pushing and shoving. I have the best products of anybody in my space. I know I have the biggest platform of products and the best products. Why are other guys kicking my ass? And I'm like, dude, you haven't reinvested the money in marketing and branding, right? I was not spending money. I look at the mattress guy in Boston. I look at the car dealer in Boston. Herb Chambers outspends everybody.
Crushes.
The mattress guy outspends everybody. The my pillow guy on TV, he who knows what he spends? He might spend $100 million a year in advertising to get $1 billion. And I'm like, oh my God, dumb. You didn't market and you didn't advertise. So this month we'll spend probably $1 million on advertising.
My whole life I've been told, be yourself. Be yourself. Just be yourself, Grant. Still today, on the second half of my life, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what that means to be myself. In fact, I would tell you it's probably bad advice. That's right, you want to become someone else. Look, if I was just going to be who I am, who I was, Grant, just be yourself, I'd still be in Lake Charles, Louisiana. I'd have a job that I had 30 years ago. There's nothing wrong with that job, but if I was just going to be myself, whatever that means exactly, you really need to ask yourself, what does it mean? What do some of these little quaint, very common sayings mean? Every time I hear a common saying, something that the masses agree with, I think to myself, is that true? Just be yourself. Just be yourself. Just be broke. Just be lazy. Just be your problem, your handicap, your issue, your weakness.
your one strength, just be that? I don't think so. I think we're all meant to be a lot more than we're pretending to be right now. You have to become someone else before you even discover who you really are. I promise you this is true. You're gonna have to become someone else. The real you. You don't know that person yet. He or she's been overeducated or undereducated. One of the two. It's nothing. You didn't get the perfect amount of education to actually become who you are, because colleges and the school systems don't teach you how to find and discover the real you. I've spent, 30 years of my life just stripping away at the parts of me that aren't me. The poor Louisiana boy, the middle class boy, I gotta save all my money boy, I can't trust people. Stay tight, stay close, stay small. Don't get too big, don't get too much attention. I had to strip all that boy away. By the way, there's been hundreds of layers of false information, wrong information, incorrect data, assumed identities, by the way. Dude, I was operating like a junkie and an alcoholic for years, told that alcoholism and drug addiction ran in my family, and I somehow adopted this. Just be yourself. See, if I was still just being myself, whatever that means, I'd still be a junkie in Lake Charles, Louisiana. But I'm not, okay? I decided to become the me I'm supposed to be.
The length of time between the idea and the execution is going to determine how much money you guys make. Get out of maybe. Stay out of maybe land. If you can get your customer to maybe, that's good. You guys need to stay out of maybe land. Maybe land is where doubt lives. Doubt slows down the organization. Oh God, what do I do? First time I met Jared had been in my office 3 or 4 weeks working. First time I met him, I walked up, who are you, man? I'm Jared. What are you doing, Jared? I'm making a list. I said, dude, I don't pay you to make a list, make a call. Okay, you got an idea to come work for me? Pick up the phone and call somebody, because that list will not pay you. The only thing that's going to pay you is the call, right? So I'm not planning, I'm producing. We don't spend enough time at my company planning. So this is what happens at our company, okay? And look, we don't do everything right there. Most of the time, this is what happens. I have an idea. Okay, I got a lot of ideas. How many of you got a lot of ideas? Okay, that idea is only as good as you can monetize that idea. Otherwise, it's worth nothing. The faster I can monetize this idea, the better that idea is. How many agree with that? So I go from idea to monetization. We're going to be going over this later today. This is what you do. You go from an idea to planning. I go with an idea, landing page, buy button, put a price on it, not even a picture of a product. So how long is it taking you to go from an idea to monetization? And by the way, how many people are involved? There was 2 people involved. We have 85 people at my company. I didn't involve anybody else. The more people you involved, if you're taking notes, the more people you involved, the longer it is going to take to get to a deliverable product. I don't need more ideas. I need execution. Planning, not production. You're spending time planning, thinking, ideas, buy-in, get everybody's input. I want everybody to feel good about it. Dude, I don't care about any of that. I didn't check with anybody. Okay? I can be wrong on my own. Right? I don't need to spend time and be wrong. Let me just get to wrong as fast as I can.
If you want another amazing Grant Cardone video, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Is there any daily disciplines that you have in your life, daily routines, that you would attribute to your success?
I try to beat the sun up.